Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy back with another reaction video. I'll be reacting to 6 months in 6 minutes 2020 so far. This was recommended by, I think his name is Caleb Chereo. I'm sorry, man. I forgot your name. I remember the Caleb part. I will bring it up, but for some reason, every time I bring up my internet, my computer, my internet freezes up. So I'm not gonna bring it up. But you commented on my, I think it was my Greenland reaction, or the Greenland trailer, and you brought up, and he brought up this 6 months in 6 minutes. I will put a link to the original video in the description. I can't remember what the name of the site was because he actually mentioned that it didn't have a lot of views, but I don't care. I don't have a lot of views in my video, so what difference does it make? But I mean, with some of my videos, some of my videos have a lot of views, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. So 6 months and 6 minutes, 2020 so far. I'm a cynic at heart, but around other people, I try to be an optimist because I'm like, I don't like to be that asshole who's always cynical about everything. You know, I like to be. Yeah, sorry, it's the 4th, so you might hear popping and fireworks and shit, and that's been happening a lot. Like yesterday, it's actually not as bad as it was yesterday, or actually the day before that. Which is funny because it's actually the 4th. It's probably going to get worse as it gets darker. It's like almost 8 o'clock p.m. But yeah, I'm not a cynical person. So I don't, even in these times we are in right now, I try not to be cynical about too much when I talk to people, reply to people on social media or whatever, because people don't need to hear that. Life is hard enough. You don't need to hear my asshole things to say about life or whatever situation I'm in, or if I can compare my situations to them and be cynical about it. You know, the people don't need to hear that shit. Like, it's already bad enough. We don't need to hear that. Even if it's not as bad for you as somebody else in either the same country or in another country. Like, we don't need to hear cynical shit. You know, so I don't try to be a cynical person, but I'm pretty sure this video is gonna be very cynical in what it is. Because I didn't look at it, but I looked at the thumbnail. You know, you hold your cursor on it, like shows a little bit of video. It seems like it's gonna be cynical, but or it's just gonna show like the worst shit that's happened in 2020. But we'll see. Anyway, let's just get into this. Alright, here we go. I haven't been out on a New Year's Eve in like 7 years. Like, actually, long. Well, yeah, a little bit longer than that, probably like 9 years. My PlayStation overheated for the first time this year, like about 2 or 3 months ago. So this is officially the worst year for me. Oh yeah, we had those wildfires. Wasn't that earlier this year?
Massive fires, already among the worst in that country's history.
Oh, this is Australia. That's right.
12 million acre scorch.
Been labelled the worst fire season ever recorded, an apocalypse, a nightmare, and like looking into the gates of hell.
Chinese health authorities are still working to identify the virus behind a pneumonia outbreak in the central city of Wuhan.
Today, the Senate impeachment trial is here.
Very sad news to tell the sports world. The LA Times is reporting that retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant.
When that happened, I didn't believe it at
Kobe
first.
Bryant, was
I
among
was
5
like, this
people
is a
killed when a
lie.
helicopter crashed and caught fire in Southern California.
Please rest in peace, little brother.
This
Yeah,
is where a U.S. military
it's hard
strike
to
took out
watch.
Qasem Soleimani, the leader of Iran's elite
Oh
police
yeah,
force.
that's when they
On
killed
Tuesday,
that
it looked
guy.
like the U.S. and Iran were on the brink of war. Ukrainian International Airlines Flight
Iran's still pissed
752
off
was
about
late.
that too.
Iran now admitting it shot down a Ukrainian passenger plane by mistake.
The mystery virus started here in the city of Wuhan.
I'm declaring
Why my eyes watering?
emergency of
Shit.
international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
Trophy for the world champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, we all know China
The Major
invented
League
the
Baseball
virus, right?
cheating
Like
scandal
that's what
sending
Trump said.
shockwaves around the world.
Different about using technology.
The U.S. Senate has found President Trump not guilty.
Cases of novel coronavirus infections
Fucking-
continue to increase across the
I don't
world.
normally hate people. I've hated Trump since when he was on the what was that, the TV show The
And
Apprentice?
it is COVID-19.
Oh, I hate him.
I think, for most investors here, it's going to be a short-term phenomenon.
Fears of the coronavirus have spurred a record-breaking sell-off on Wall Street. The World Health Organization says the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 worldwide has surpassed 100,000.
Tom Brady officially a member of the Buccaneers.
I mean, looking at what we're seeing now,
That was bad.
I would say between 100 and 200,000 cases, but I don't want to be held to that because it's.
Yeah, this guy should be
deaths.
fired
The
because he's
National
saying things
Basketball
that we
Association
don't agree
is saying
with.
they are suspending
Or
the
people don't- some people
2019-2020
don't
season
agree with.
following the completion of tonight's game.
The NHL just announcing that they are pausing the season due to the coronavirus.
Major League Baseball announced Friday that spring training camps will be suspended.
I don't care about sports, so this,
COVID-19
that
can
don't
be
bother me.
characterized as a pandemic.
The 2020 Summer Olympics, now the latest major sports cancellation caused by the global COVID-19 pandemic.
Tonight, as the toll rises to staggering levels, reports the U.S. has surpassed China with over 80,000 since the start of the outbreak.
The worldwide total of confirmed COVID-19 cases now surpassing 1 million.
Chinese authorities have revised up the number
But
of
it's all fake,
fatalities there
everybody.
due to COVID-19
If it's
by
not fake,
50%.
it's 5G that's
At
causing
least 33 people killed across 6 states by the severe storms.
Canadian authorities say a gunman killed more than a dozen people.
I was gonna go
while
into
a
some
rampage
guy
in
online was trying to
They
like
now
argue with
say
me
22
about
people
5G.
were killed.
Clearly, he knew nothing about
683
how
lives
viruses
lost in
work.
Italy today
or in
alone.
that, so I'm
A
like,
staggering number.
I
the
just stopped
worst
talking
number
to him.
of people unemployed since the
I was
Great
like, he's an
Depression.
idiot.
The United
So I just
States now,
stopped. I said,
where more
there's
than
no point
30
talking
million
to you, you're
people
an
have now
idiot.
filed for unemployment benefits.
Maybe if you were making some good points, but you weren't. So I was like, you're an idiot. So I just
Many
stopped
of these
talking.
protesters didn't follow social distancing guidelines you see there as they were demanding that the governor's stay-at-home order disappear.
The White House and many state governors are
It's my American right.
U.S. oil prices plunged below zero on Monday, hitting a new record low.
Our team of experts now agrees that we can begin the next front in our war.
The next front
which we're
in our
calling
war.
Opening up America.
Kim Jong-un has appeared in public for the first time in 20
It's the
days
Democrats.
after
The Democrats are
escalating
making all
rumors
this
about
stuff.
his health and whether he was even still alive.
Killer hornets invading the
Did Kim
U.S. and
Jong-un
Canada.
die? Is Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong?
And taking a picture
It's Exhibit O.
of a black hole.
At least 16
Did he
people are
die?
dead after two
I don't
gunmen
remember.
stormed a
Like, I
maternity
remember they
ward
talking about
in
he might be dead.
Afghanistan.
Brazil could become the next hot spot of the COVID-19
Oh yeah, that
outbreak.
idiot that's down
the
there,
number of deaths
president of
here in the
Brazil.
United States has just crossed
Sheesh.
100,000.
Oh yeah, the whole George
We are
Floyd
keeping
thing.
a close eye on the protest tonight following the death of George Floyd.
I am your president of law and order and an ally of all peaceful protesters.
Of course you are.
Something on fire, Chris, a firecracker.
Ooh.
Shit.
Overnight, a group of people tore down the
Shit.
George Washington statue.
These people are idiots. For real.
Peace on the left.
This dude.
Peace on the left. Peace on the left.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
20 Indian soldiers have been
Well,
killed
that was
fighting
interesting
with
saying
Chinese
that
troops on a disputed
go off
border
and stuff.
region, according to the
Oh yeah,
Indian
I
Army
forgot.
and
I forgot
government
about the
sources.
India and
There's been a
China thing
setback in
going
the
on.
fight against
Who forgot about
COVID-19
that?
in many parts of the world.
Florida is one of 33 states
That
seeing a
might
spike in
turn into a
COVID-19
damn
cases.
world war.
First, though, nearly 9,000 new coronavirus cases in the state of Florida, smashing the previous record of 5,500.
We begin tonight with two grim global milestones. Confirmed cases of COVID-19 have surpassed the 10 million mark, while the virus has now killed 500,000 people.
But it's just the flu, so it's nothing to worry about. I'm young and I'm healthy, so it doesn't matter. Like, fucking can't stand humans with that shit. Like, listen, I'm 33, but I'm obese, so I'm actually a person who can be affected by it. I had a conversation with a guy, and I was in Jules Osco. He was an older guy, actually. He was like, he looked like he might have been, he actually told me how old he was, but I think he was in like his late 50s, early 60s. And he started just randomly conversating with me. I don't know why. People just, I guess they figure they could just have a conversation. But anyway, she started talking about wearing a mask, and stuff, and how do I feel about it. We both had masks on, so I don't know, but I was like, yeah, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't want to be like, well, it's my right not to wear a mask. Like, in that case, I could walk into a 7-Eleven and they could have a sign that says, you have to wear, shirts and shoes. And I could just not take my shirt off, my shoes off. Hey, it's my right to not wear, shirts and shoes if I don't want to. You can't tell me. Like, even though they can, because it's a business. But, they try going to a college campus not wearing any clothes or something like that, and see how security won't be on your ass in 2 seconds flat, throwing you off campus. But yeah, we got in a discussion about wearing masks and stuff like that, and he was talking about like basically kind of like people forcing people to wear masks. Cause like here in Illinois, like you gotta wear a mask if you go into a store, even though certain stores don't enforce it because they say that, but there are people in the store that don't have masks. Well, most of the people have masks on, but it's funny because the people who have masks are definitely in the majority. So you see someone who doesn't have a mask, and which is funny because the old guy was kind of like talking about this woman that she might have been around like my age, and she didn't have a mask on. He was kind of jokingly talking about her, like, I wouldn't serve her, she wouldn't have a mask on. But when I talked to him, it seemed like he was serious. So, but he was doing it in a joking manner because she didn't have a mask on. I saw her like when I was walking around, she didn't have a mask on. I guess she don't. Either she forgot it, she could have forgot it, and just didn't have anything. And just like, well, I'm not gonna go all the way back home for a mask, But hey, you want to put your life at risk? It's your life, even though you could get sick and go spread it to somebody else. That's what I'm worried about. Because I talk to my mother, I go visit my mother, I go visit my brother who has kids, who now has 2 kids now because his girlfriend just had another kid with him. So I'd rather not get sick, and especially if I'm one of those people who get sick and don't actually show symptoms, but I can spread it and spread it to somebody, so that's why I'm like, well, I'm very careful about washing my hands. I don't touch my face, especially I'm one of those people who always used to wipe my eyelid and my eyes because I have very long eyelashes and they always get like in my eyes. I don't do that anymore. I don't touch anything. If I touch my phone while I'm outside and I touch stuff, I don't touch my face at all. I rub alcohol and rub it on my phone. I'm very cautious because I don't want to get sick. I don't want, because I told like I was going to say, I was talking to the guy in the store who was older than me. I said it because he was talking about masks, and I said, I don't want to wear a mask. He didn't really want to wear a mask. Like, who wants to wear a mask? I was in the military. I had to do MOP 4. Anyone who was in the military, you know what MOP 4 is. When you're full chemical warfare gear and you have a gas mask on, and you might be in that thing for hours. You know, you're sweating, and you out in the sun, you're hot, and you might be in, and it's just training, you know. So you like, I hate this, but it's preparing you for if this shit actually hits the fan, and you need, if someone throws a chemical weapon at you or whatever, and you need to put on your gear, and you make sure that you know how to operate. So the ends justify the means. But I think I told this guy, I said about the mask thing. What was I about to say? I lost my train of thought. But the whole, like, I told him, I said, the mask thing doesn't bother me. I wear a mask. Damn, what was I about to say about the mask? Because when I talked to the guy, I remember telling him, like, I said, hey, you wear a mask, you get used to it. Like in Japan, they've been wearing masks for SARS for years. Like, you get used to it, they kind of actually stylize it. It becomes like a style accessory type thing, and they don't jump on this, oh, my freedoms have been trampled on or whatever. But what was I about to say? I was about to say it. See, this is why I say stuff when I'm thinking about it. So it seems like I'm jumping all over the place. But this is why I say stuff when I'm thinking about it, because I might forget. Because I'll start talking about something else and I don't remember. But I know I'm going to forget. And somebody's going to comment on it, and I'm like, that's exactly what I was trying to say. Oh, I was going to say, and I didn't say. But anyway. But yeah, it's been a crazy year, We've had, I remember the wildfires. I actually forgot kind of about the wildfire. I remember the wildfires. I know we had the Amazon fires, but that was fires from just people setting fires in Amazon because they want to create like grazing land for their cattle. What else I know? Little Richard died. Did Prince die this year? Or was that last year? Quite a few people have died. Was Bill Withers, did he die this year? Or was that last year? I had to look it up, but I mean, we've lost quite a few people this year. I don't think he died for anything COVID related. Bill Withers was pretty old. He just died from old age. But, oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. I told the guy who I was at the store with, because this COVID thing pretty much turns into pneumonia. And I asked him, have you ever had pneumonia? And he's like, no, I ain't never had pneumonia. I said, it's one of the worst things you could possibly have. And probably not die from it. You could die from it, especially if you go untreated for too long, then you go to the hospital. I had pneumonia when I was in the military. When I was in that basic training, I had pneumonia. I got pneumonia 3 days in. And it was one of the worst. At least that's what the people told me there. They told me I had pneumonia, and they said it was like, it could be, the way they was looking at it, like it could be becoming bronchitis, but they weren't sure. But they said definitely had pneumonia. And just trying to sleep before I went to the hospital, it felt like I was drowning. Like I had to keep getting up, coughing up mucus, sneezing. This was 3 days into basic training. I had the shakes, even though it was hot as hell in San Antonio. I was cold. Even though I remember my TI, I was sitting there because we were getting immunizations, and I was sitting there shaking on the floor because there was no chair, so we had to sit on the floor. And my TI came, he's like, you all right, man? Like he was like, he took all that, you know, military training instructor shit went out the window. He was like, are you all right? Like he was legitimately concerned about me. And I said, I don't know. And I was just sitting there shaking. You know, I had my coat on. I was shaking, and I was like, can I go outside? He said, yeah. He was like, do whatever you have to do, man. And he told the other TA, he's like, don't fuck with him, because I think something's wrong. But he didn't know. So I went outside, and I just stood there in the sun, and it was heating me up, and I felt, the sun never felt so good to me in that moment. That in my life, I never had that happen to me ever. And the whole thing started with like, we were marching, and it started like pouring down rain. And I remember we were marching we were getting like our uniforms like fitted and stuff like that. So like our blues fitted, and we were just picking up like our ABUs and stuff. And we were marching back, and our TI decided to turn this into like a training thing. He's like, hey, well, how about, you know, we, you know, march and get in formation and turn and stuff like that, because there was no cars and stuff. So he was like, we were doing that, and then all of a sudden it was just like, it just a storm. And the wind was so strong. Like, this wind was so strong, we tried to march back to we weren't that far from our unit. Our TI literally said double time. We had never done double time before. We just started running back to the unit. And after that, and that was like day 2, I think it was. And we hold at, I remember day 1. Like, because we got there around like midnight. And then we had to be up at 5 that next morning. Well, no, because since we got there so late, they were like, well, we had them get up at 6. So we didn't get up like when everybody, because normally we get up like around 5 to like for reveille and stuff like that, and then then we go back upstairs, and then we go downstairs again for breakfast and stuff like that, and then we go out to run or do, you know, a fitness training or whatever. But I think because we got there like after 12, and I guess like I said, I think that was that might have been day 2. I can't remember. Like, I remember day 2 when we were marching out there, and the next day I started getting sick, and like they told me I had pneumonia because I didn't go to the hospital right away. I went to the hospital when I just couldn't bear it anymore. I finally went to the hospital, and they said I had pneumonia, and I remember the doctor was like, they hear like a popping in my lung, and so it was bad. He like, I've been med here for I think he said like 16, 15 years, something like that. He's like, I've never heard that. And they told me I had pneumonia, so I was like, if you never had pneumonia, and you talking about, this is just the flu and all that stuff, like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I've had pneumonia. It was and I've had it in one of the worst times ever in my life, which was basic training, where I had to go run and do push-ups and shit like that, where I wasn't able just to stay home and take care of myself. So, like, when people say that, like, I clearly like these people. I'm like, you never had pneumonia. You probably had, you know, something else, but you were too young. You don't remember that shit. But pneumonia is no fucking joke. He was like, you young. You don't have any pre-existing condition. You'll get over it. But you still probably gonna have to go to the hospital. You're gonna have to get a bill. Anyone's been in the hospital, I've been in the hospital other than just pneumonia outside the military, and I've gotten a bill. And I went to a fucking emergency room. And I was in there, I literally waited in there for like, I think like 7-8 hours before I was seen. Then I got taken to the back. They gave me basically water because I think it was my lymph node right here was swollen. And then the nurse was like, I'm surprised that you can breathe. She's like, you probably waited another day or 2, you'd have been, it'll be closed up and you'd have died from, oxygen loss. But I went to the hospital and I went to the emergency room. And they literally gave me water. They gave me some antibiotics, stuff like that. And I remember luckily I think I was working at UPS. They have really good like health insurance. My bill was over $2,000. I was in the waiting room for like 7-8 hours. I went back to see them. I first saw the nurse, then I waited for 7-8 hours. Went back. I remember it was a guy there bleeding from his leg, blood all over the floor. And he was sitting there almost as long as he was sitting there before I got there. And he was sitting there. They just pulled him back before they pulled me back in the back. And then literally, I think I was there for like 30 minutes because they put me on the IV because they was like, I said I was dehydrated. And from what I had, because I couldn't swallow, so I didn't drink a lot of water. And they sent me a bill for, I think it was like $2,200. Luckily, I was working at UPS, my insurance, it was like, I think I had to pay like $200 and something for that. So, like I tell people like, you think shit ain't serious, and you think, oh, I'm young, I don't have a pre-existing condition I can do. Until if you get sick and you need to go to the hospital, and that bill come on your ass afterwards, you're gonna wish you were more cautious, but this year has been, like I said, my PlayStation overheated for the first time this year. And I couldn't play. I was trying to start playing The Last of Us because I've been planning on playing The Last of Us for like years. Because if you don't know, this channel started as a gameplay channel, and I think I had like 8 or 9 full through Let's Plays of games, but the audio was horrible. I actually have a microphone coming tomorrow. I got a video capture card that came. I have that already. Hopefully it doesn't not work or anything, but I have a microphone coming tomorrow. And it's funny because I haven't played a game really before that in like a year, like really try to play it. And now that I'm waiting for my mic, I've been wanting to play a game because I wanted to start doing Let's Plays, because that's kind of what this channel started out. That's what this channel started out as a gameplay channel. But I want to wait for my mic because the mic on my headset, my other headset, my gaming headset, is not great. My voice is too low. It picks up too much noise in the background, and I don't like it. It's much better than my other mic where I did Let's Plays and it was horrible. It wasn't just picking up, the ambient noise in the room. It was just static. So I sounded like I was talking over like just a static white noise screen. That's what it sounded like. It was horrible. And I did 9 full Let's Plays of games. So I played 9 games, or 8 or 9 games, all the way through before I actually looked at the gameplay. And I can't even barely hear my voice. And somebody commented and said, I can't even hear you. And also, I had my fan on blowing right into the mic because it was hot. I played those games like in the summer and early fall. So the noise from my fan blowing right into my mic, and the microphone on the headset was fucked up. It had like white noise, so it was that plus the fan, which was horrible. But I bought a mic. It's coming, so I'm gonna start doing gameplays for that. But yeah, 2020 has been a hell of a year. This will be taught in history books. This will be the thing that people are like, hey, we had the pandemic of the coronavirus, and kids will have to take tests on it. Like when I was a kid, I had to take tests in history classes, especially like U.S. history about like the Spanish flu, or World War I and stuff like that. But like I said, the Spanish flu, and I had to take tests with that incorporated. So they don't have to take tests. I'm sure people have had like kids. I haven't been in I'm sure there's like general education, so there's like kindergarten, 12th grade, but people going to take tests for. I'm sure people have taken tests for, 9/11, stuff like that, the recession, stuff like that. But now you get things going on in 2020, and it's just like, there's so much going on. I can understand why people think, especially like coronavirus is not real. They're like, it must be a hoax, especially when you have the president saying that it's a hoax for the Democrats to undermine his campaign and shit like that, which is stupid. But I'm not surprised. Like I said, I've never liked Trump since I saw him. It had to be The Apprentice or that show he was firing people. And I remember watching it. I didn't watch that myself, but I watched it with a friend of mine's house because he watched it, and I was like, I fucking hate this guy. Just hearing his voice, I didn't like. And then you see the stuff he tweets and talks about. I'm just like, how do people? Okay, you didn't like Obama. That's fine. There's people who, like, I wasn't a big fan of Obama's, but still, I was like, he had his faults, and he was trying to do some good things. But and even during Trump, he does some good things, or his cabinet does some good things. Like, hey, I applaud that. But when he's talking, I'm like, you're a president. You're not supposed to be saying things that divide people. You have to be very, very careful about what you say, and what you do. Because, like, I keep going back to when I was in the military, I worked as an admin. Admin people, we were all about the Air Force regulation, which was pretty much tell you how you're supposed to conduct yourself as an airman. But we were more scrutinized than anybody else in the Air Force because that was our job. We read over, the regs and stuff like that constantly. So if like our ribbons were out of whack or they weren't lined up with like they're supposed to be, or we had them on wrong, or our belt was on wrong, or there were things in our job that we didn't do right, we got more scrutiny than somebody like an aircraft mechanic, because they don't read that shit. They get their own instructions on how to do their job. They might not even know, so we got more scrutinized than them because this was our job. We're supposed to know this shit, so that's why I'm like, you the president, you can't be dividing people. Like, people talk about Obama divide. Obama didn't divide people. People who didn't like Obama, mainly because he was, black or half black, or whatever you want to say, instantly hated him. So it became a divide between people because he was who he was. Because especially when Trump did that whole thing about, well, we need to see his birth certificate. He might not even been born here and shit like that. That became a divide between Americans. So, and then Trump with his, like, I mean, I don't need to say anything. You can look it up yourself. You can look up the tweets. You can look up things about Trump he has said, done. It's out there. I don't need to sit here and be some one of these YouTubers who do news and talk about this shit. You can, like I did. I looked at this shit. I actually follow Trump on Twitter, so I see what he says. So I don't like, I got it from the horse's mouth. So I don't need. And this is not from some CNN or some YouTube, or was it TYT or whatever on YouTube. Like, I am getting this from six. So this is from Trump. The shit he said, and I'm like, I don't like this person, and I didn't like him before that. But I was like, he the president. When he became the president, so what? Give him a chance. Don't instantly dislike the person because you don't like him. Give the person a chance. And I did, and it was, and like Dave Chappelle said, I shouldn't have said that shit. But yeah, anyway, I didn't want to talk this long, but I probably shouldn't have drank before this, because all that liquid courage is running rampant right now. And I'm about to react to some other videos, but hey, if you like Trump, that's perfectly fine. You like what you like, and that is what it is. Even you can point out things bad about Trump. If you want to jump into Obama, it's just like, I didn't like George W. Bush even when I was in high school, when that motherfucker was in. I think I had, well, by the time I joined, when I joined the Air Force, Bush was still president. I think he was still president. Because it was in 2008. I can't remember, did Obama come president in late 2008 or was he late 2007? If he was late 2007, then he was president before I became. Because I remember when I went into the military, they hadn't changed out pictures in certain places that had George W. Bush into Obama, so that they had like the chain of command, and they have Obama's picture up there, and some places still had George W. Bush picture up there, had like the vice president, secretary of state, and shit like that. Certain places still had like George W. Bush. That's why I can't remember if he was president in 2008 and Obama became president at the end of 2008. Because I went in the military at the beginning of 2008. But yeah, all I can say is treat people well. Don't be an asshole. I had some asshole like cough at me once. Like, this was more about probably in the beginning of May, because I was wearing a mask and some people weren't wearing masks. And I went in the store and I think I was wearing a mask and a few other people that I saw weren't wearing masks. And some dude like coughed at me. And I was like, I could beat your ass right now, but that would be an over exaggeration. That would be too much. But just for your own health, just right now. I know it's inconvenient, just wear a mask. It's not a political thing. It's a health thing. Even if they're wrong, it's better to be cautious. To be like, oh, I wore a mask, and then let's say in another 2 or 3 months they come out, oh, we didn't even need to wear a mask. Like, we gonna be pissed off then, or I could not wear a mask. Like, it's better to be cautious. Like, and like I said, if you like Trump, that's fine. You like what you like. But I don't like that motherfucker. I've never liked him prior to when he was president. I don't like his policies. I don't like anything about him. But I didn't like some of Obama's policies. I thought Obama was like a used car salesman. He just said whatever you want to hear to really much stand by. I don't really trust politicians in general. But hey, it is what it is. So that was this. I'll put a link in the description of the whole video. So you can go watch it yourself. Go check their channel out. You can look at some other stuff I got down here that I'm reacting to. Lucifer. I'm finishing up. Well, I already finished. I finished up Castlevania a long time ago. I just need to edit those videos. I think I need to finish season 3. And some other stuff. If you're new here, subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell, you will be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below, share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.